Hello guys, Nathan here and welcome back to the channel. With so many games releasing all year round, today we're going to take a look at my most anticipated strategy games of 2022. This will include any form of strategy, be it RTS, turn-based, 4X or more. If you find any games in this video you like the look of, then do consider wishlisting them. It helps the developers out a lot. I do plan on making a separate video for city builds in the future, so look out for that. So starting off my list is WARNO, a game that has already entered early access. However, with so much to look forward to on the full release of the game, I thought I'd mention it here. Developed by Fusion Systems as a spiritual successor to their wargame series, WARNO takes us back to a more modern time, but with some quality of life improvements that they have implemented in their recent title, Steel Division 2. With over 600 units planned to be added spanning both sides of the Cold War, WARNO aims to deliver one of the most authentic and expansive real-time strategy games to date. One thing that the older wargame series was missing was a campaign that would hook you in and give you a reason to play it if you are not a massive multiplayer fan. With the introduction of Army General in Steel Division 2, Fusion Systems took it upon themselves to implement this into WARNO. With 4 massive campaigns planned set around the Cold War between NATO and the Warsaw Pact, you'll get to play around with plenty of different units and nations. Fusion Systems games have always boasted about their games being the most authentic and realistic strategy games you can buy with meticulous detail. Each unit has its own detailed stats, range from how far they can shoot, how much penetration it has, even how fast they move. The details and thought put into every unit makes the game set apart from many in the same category. On top of the campaigns, WARNO continues to bring the intense action-packed multiplayer battles ranging from 1v1s to even 10v10s, as well as even scripted operations that allow you for a more controlled single-player experience. WARNO has plenty of potential and I myself cannot wait for it to launch with all the goodness it planned. Songs of Conquest is set to release May the 10th next month. It's been on my radar for now and I really like the look of it. It takes us back to many of our childhoods with an inspired approach from games released in the 90s such as Heroes of Might and Magic. You lead powerful magicians called welders in epic battles between our 4 factions, each with their own design and aesthetic. Collect resources to grow your empire, research new technologies and employ an array of different units to use against your enemy in deep turn-based combat. Whether playing alone or playing with a friend, Songs of Conquest meets all the criteria for a good way to spend a night gaming. As well as the deep expansive mechanics, Songs of Conquest has implemented an in-game level editor, so you can create your own campaigns and skirmish maps with scripted events, soundtracks and dialogue that you can really enjoy with your friends, really leaning into that 90s Dungeons & Dragons Game Master vibe. Songs of Conquest will be released with 2 campaigns, each with their own unique song that tells its own tale. As you complete missions, you'll unlock new verses to which you can listen to fully once complete. With so much included in the game on release, I really can't wait to give this a go and play around with the campaign, even the level editor with some friends. There's a lot to look forward to. Starship Troopers has finally got a release date and is set to release June 16th. Terran Command is a thrilling real-time strategy game set in the Starship Troopers movie universe. Take command of the mobile infantry and do your part in the war against the arachnids who threaten the desert planet of Kowalashi. As the bugs outnumber you, you'll have to rely on the skills and tactical aptitude to overcome such an advantage. With the use of true line of sight and true line of fire, you'll have to position your mobile troops carefully as your troops will block each other from shooting the enemy if they are in front of each other. The bugs can also utilize this to plant ambushes around every corner. It really makes you have to think about your every move. With an expansive range of unique units, weapons and special abilities at your disposal, you'll have access to your standard troopers with their assault rifles, troopers with rocket launchers, even ones with flamethrowers, and later you get access to mechs. Not only that, but there are plenty of defensive structures you can build, including minefields and barricades to help you battle the bugs. As the campaign progresses, technological breakthroughs unlock the true potential of the Federation's arsenal. Set to release in early access in Q2 2022, Fallen Frontier is a revolutionary sci-fi RTS where ship design, recon and logistics are critical elements. Set in a universe where Earth, Venus and Mars are rivaling each other as you expand throughout a vast procedurally generated star system filled with planets, moons, asteroid fields and nebulae, you will get to explore and expand throughout it all. Fallen Frontier's main draw is how it incorporates logistics into the base game, needing to set up your supply lines to fuel your colonies. A weaker player can raid these supply depots, colonies and supply lines to combat a stronger opponent. As well as this, the game leans into a smaller but larger amount of flotilla instead of big unstoppable doomsday fleets. Expanding too much too fast could have you stretching your supply line too thin, allowing your enemy to weaken you by indirect guerrilla warfare. The game also features an in-depth ship designer with over 20 different ship types, including frigates, destroyers, cruisers and battlecruisers, alongside an array of civilian ships, as well as each weapon and component being able to be customized for whatever needs you need fulfilled. Then you have the ship crew. Each crew member has its own name, rank, portrait and identities. It really brings the game to life. Enemy officers not killed in action can be captured and interrogated, or left in their escape pods as bait in order to ambush any rescue ships. Keeping up with the sci-fi trend, we have Terra Invicta releasing in Q2 2022. From the creators of the Long War mod for XCOM, this is their first attempt at a standalone game. An extraterrestrial probe is detected approaching Earth. Unknown to humanity though, an alien force has arrived in the far reaches of the icy Cupola Belt and has begun mining a dwarf planet to prepare for an invasion. Terra Invicta puts you in control of one of 7 factions, all with their own agendas. Will you become the servants and treat the aliens as gods, join the resistance and defend Earth, or be a part of the Project Exodus and build a spaceship to flee the solar system and the alien threat? There are many ways to play and I'm looking forward to being able to try them all out. As you play the game, you'll have to navigate Earth's political system so you come out on top over your opponents. Not only that, you'll need to plan your expansion through the solar system and tackle different types of events that could hinder or help you out. There's also a pretty cool ship designer too, selecting from different weapons, drives and hulls. You'll definitely want to check this out if you're as much of a sci-fi lover as I. Going back to some historical strategy games, we have the newest chapter in the Men of War series. With no specific release date planned other than 2022, our best guess is probably near the end of the year. In Men of War 2, you lead your troops in intense real-time battles on the western and eastern fronts, commanding dozens of historically accurate units with unique equipment. Utilising the terrain to your advantage, one thing that stands this game out among many is the direct control ability, which allows you to directly control any and all of your units under your command. It's a great combination of real-time strategy and shooter. The game will feature 2 campaigns as you play the Allied and Soviet forces fighting against the German war machine. You'll get to experience both the eastern and western fronts, which not many games actually do that. Once again, co-op and multiplayer is back with full mod support confirmed. I can't wait to see what scenarios and battles people will come up with. It wouldn't be right if we didn't include Victoria 3 in this list. With no set date revealed as of yet, this is still a game to keep an eye on. Victoria 3 takes you back to the 19th century where you get to choose to lead many nations with many different playstyles, agrarian or industrial, traditional or radical, peaceful or expansionist. Whatever playstyle you like, the game has it all. With it being very focused on your population and politics, each population group in your nation has different wants and needs, as well as that you'll go through multiple different political shifts throughout the years. But be prepared as not everyone may know how your country is shifting. Revolutions are a major factor in Victoria 3. If you don't balance your economic and political spheres correctly, you may see the people start political movements to shift the country back in a direction they prefer. You can accept their demands, or you can violently suppress the angry mobs by sending in the National Guard. It is very much your prerogative. The game will include a deep economic system with trade and import and export being key for a thriving economy. Balance the markets and different types of workers to fuel your ever-growing industry and future wars that may come up. With its deep economic and politics, I can't wait to see how the game plays out, and because it really stands out from other Paradox titles, as none of their other titles really deliver anything similar. Broken Arrow has no real set release date like a few on this list, however expected to come out soon. Similar to the War Game series, Broken Arrow lets you create army decks, choosing from over 200 different units from Russian and American forces. All the units are split into categories such as infantry, which will include line infantry, shock infantry, special forces, anti-tank troops and anti-air teams. Then there's support, which includes artillery and anti-aircraft vehicles that provide long-range support on the battlefield, and even helicopters and jet aircraft. Unlike a war game, however, Broken Arrow features a detailed, customized system that allows you to modify the specific components of your units, kit out your aircraft for whatever role they need to be doing, upgrade your vehicles with different defense systems and armor types, as well as equip your infantry with different war gear such as thermal scopes, suppressors, and explosives. With so much customization, it brings something onto the table that similar games do not deliver. Warhammer 40k Chaos Gate Demon Hunters is releasing in just a couple of weeks on May the 5th. As a massive Warhammer fan, I was instantly interested in Chaos Gate as it delivers something that we have really not seen that much in the past, and that is the ability to play as the Grey Knights as they combat the forces of chaos. Chaos Gate is a turn-based tactical RPG similar to what you might see in XCOM. You're able to customize your base by building different facilities, while also conducting research to discover all the arcane mysteries. Similar to XCOM, you command squads of Grey Knights in their pursuit into expelling demons. Customize each of your Grey Knights from their loadouts to their psychic abilities. Each of your warriors can be customized with voice, armor, and facial options to make them really just your own. Combat diverts slightly away from the XCOM format as there is no hit chance modifiers, and melee has a more predominant place in the game with options like disabling an opponent's weapon or putting a debuff on them. As you fight the Death Guard Space Marines, you'll discover the dynamic destructible environment which you can use against your enemy that really brings out how cinematic the game will be. Finally, for all you Andy Serkis fans out there, he'll be voicing the Grandmaster Varden Kay, which is great to see such a voice in it. Knights of Honor 2 Sovereign is the longer-awaited sequel to the popular 2005 strategy game. With the release date marked as coming soon, we can only hope that it comes out in 2022. If you're a fan of Crusader Kings and Total War, Knights of Honor 2 has gameplay similarities with both games. Similar to Crusader Kings, you can choose from a multitude of nations to rule over and guide your family throughout the years. Interact with your own personal royal court, set up your merchants to build trade, send your diplomats and spies to other nations, as well as your marshals of your armies, all whom are chosen by yourself. Each character can grow their skills as the year goes on and as they gain experience. The battles are very much similar to other RTS games such as Total War, where you can either let the battles play out and let your army's strength determine the victor, or take personal control over them and initiate RTS-styled battles. With so many different battle maps between castle sieges and outright just pitch battles, it'll be your prowess in battle that brings you expansion and victory. Lastly, it also has plans for a robust multiplayer system where you can play with a bunch of friends to take on the challenges of the game together or against one another. Knights of Honor 2 brings a nice combination of grand strategy and RTS that I can't wait to check out when it releases. Manor Lords has been one of the most anticipated games on this list ever since it was discovered all the way back in 2020. There's no release date set for the game, however the game is actively promoted by the solo developer. That's right, the game is mostly being worked on by one sole developer, which piqued many people's interest. Manor Lords is an upcoming medieval strategy game that combines city building and real-time strategy. Its aim is to provide a gridless and organic city building experience with full freedom of placement and rotation, but with the standard snapping tools that you are used to seeing in city builders. With realism one of the main things behind the game, buildings are motivated by the growth of real medieval towns and villages, where major trade routes are quite often influence how towns and villages were developed. The game's setting is mostly focused around the 11th and 12th century, with each building being directly inspired by historical references from Central Europe. Continuing the historical realism focus, your fields need to be ploughed by oxen to be ready for harvest, sheep need to be herded about the fields, and iron needs to be bloomed in a bloomery. As time goes on, seasons will change and new challenges will await you, such as disease, famine, or even just war falling upon you. All these details, big and small, really keep you invested in the growth of your settlement. With the growth of your settlements being one focus of the game, now we go on to the other, the battles. Manor Lords aims to bring you battles that feel real, with formation dragon and waypoints, different battle stances for infantry and fire stances for archers. They've even added tactical retreating, where your troops will step back away from the enemy instead of outright turning their backs to the mid-combat, similar to what you see in Total War. The game wants combat to feel as fluid as possible. The weather system and fatigue system, as well as the armor compositions, will make you think about how to combat each battle differently. I don't know if this is personally my most anticipated game of the year or the next game on our list. Company of Heroes 3 has a planned release for the end of the year. The popular RTS game is one of my most anticipated games of the year. With previous titles covering the Western Front and Eastern Front, Company of Heroes 3 takes us to the Mediterranean, battle across Italian mountains, breathtaking coastal vistas, and even fight the enemy in Northern Africa. With Company of Heroes 3 comes with the biggest single-player campaign in the franchise history, with the all-new dynamic campaign map. Relic diverts from the mission-based campaigns from 1 and 2, and has now gone with a full sandbox experience, with different objectives and strategic choices that will pop up as you expand throughout the map. You'll have access to different factions like the Commonwealth and US forces, as well as different companies which all have different recruitable units in the battles, with all having upgradable skills to unlock after you gain experience. While you explore the map, you'll be able to do different actions such as establish vital supply lines, launch air and naval strikes to weaken and scatter enemy forces, or even liberate a nearby town to develop a partisan spy network. One thing that Company of Heroes 2 has always been known for is its variety of authentic World War II stuff throughout the factions, and then only expanding that in Company of Heroes 3. With more diverse units and vehicles, Relic has now included forces from Canada, Italy, and even Gurkha soldiers from India, with many more yet to have been shown. It's always nice when games include things from other nations that aren't the US, Britain, and Germany. Company of Heroes has always been a very cinematic experience, and now with the new enhanced destruction, it's even more so than before. Each building is built to crumble slowly with each explosion that hits it, soldiers being able to use these newly destructed ruins as new dynamic cover, and the effects of smoke, fire, and sand now taking the battles to all new levels. There's so much more to talk about for each and every one of these games, however that is for another video. Now if you did enjoy this video, then do be sure to drop a like on it and comment down below, what game are you looking forward to the most? Other than that, if you're new to the channel, then do remember to subscribe to it. We do plan on doing more of these videos, and I shall see you again next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.